Well,
So,
what's
there we
up?
go. So we're on. See? Okay. So I guess I have to say welcome to, this is 2013, the Entrepreneur, which is a small business management class project that I have my students do every year. We've been doing this show for a number of years now, so it's a great fun and great pleasure to be here. Welcome the studio audience, the students who don't want to be on the set with me. This project this year, we did it a little bit differently. You see, we have boxes around the set. Well, you will see in a minute. But this is a quick nutshell of the project, and I would like to roll right into that, and we'll talk about who we have here with me, and then we'll go into what the program is a little bit. So if we can move on to the next slide. Or so. Okay, there we go. There's the project description. It's a simple project where I give my students 1 week to start a business. And this year, for Startup Seed, they were given a box and $5, and divided the class into 4 teams, and there's no lemons to use, but they must use their Startup Seed, which was the box and the $5. The most profit wins. So that's in a nutshell what the project was. And I guess I'd like to check. Can you get a shot of my guests, I suppose, please? There we go. All right. So with me up in the upper right-hand corner is Jamie Harden. He was with the BTW team. And next to him is Jake Hatfield, which was the Sub-Zero team. To my right is Michelle Mitchell, the Hot Tamales, and Cynthia Hampton with Guadalajara Numero 2. Is that right? How'd I do, Romero? Guadalajara number 2. How's that? Okay. So as you can see, we have lots of boxes. We have 4 teams here. There's the name of the 4 companies, and the picture there shows you what the Startup Seed capital was, $5 and a box. And the rules were there to use that Startup Seed in some way, and also had basically 1 week to complete this project. So they had to create a product, company, set it up, sell it, and collect some money, which they've done an incredible job this year. The other thing that I threw in the mix this year, which was new, every other year we've done this, we've done, teams would set up their own charity recipient for the profits. This year we set it up and for the profits to go into an MCC Foundation scholarship fund we call the L'Entrepreneur Scholarship Fund. So these guys have raised a ton of money for that scholarship fund, so it's really pretty cool. I would like to move into the first team, if we can, have a conversation with Jamie. So Chad, if you go to the first one, please, the BTW. Okay, Jamie, we have on here, you guys sold in the Student Center, you sold on Facebook a little bit. You had cookies, bell ringers, some Pakistani soup, some duct tape frames. Tell us a little bit about how you came up with what you were going to sell for a project or product.
Well, we originally decided to do the bake sale with the intentions of having some advertising to go along with it. The advertising fell through, so we had to come up with a way to supplement that, I guess you'd say. And we started off, we were first going to sell the cookies and the advertising. Then it went from cookies to bell ringers to soups and duct tape frames. With the weather the way that it was, and we had a school that was closed for one of the days, and we just kind of had to throw everything in that we could to make as much profit as we could.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about the bell ringers, first of all.
The bell ringers, they're pretty good. What it is, it's a cross between a sponge cake and a brownie. It's kind of got a cinnamony, nutmeg taste. It's a real original treat. They're very good.
Yeah, they were very good. So if you didn't have one, chocolate, really, really good chocolate. How about the duct tape frames? Tell us where that came from.
Well, we had a previous class project with you, Jim, that we had to invent or make something out of duct tape and make a presentation out of it. Well, we made the duct tape frames because it was unique. It was something different. You don't see them all the time. And the judges in that competition liked them, enough to let us win. So we decided that if it was good enough for the judges, we'd go ahead and try to sell some of them at the same time too.
Okay, because part of that project was that innovation had to be marketable.
Yeah.
And so it was. We have a couple of pictures, I think, for these guys. So let's take a look at that if we can. Okay. What do we have going on here, Jamie?
That is actually us using part of our startup seed, which was the box. And in the box, we pretty much just use it for transportation of the goods. Mm-hmm. And that was us setting up in the MCC Student Center on, I believe, the second day of our stand, yeah.
Okay. And there's a picture of most of the team.
Yeah.
Missing a couple of people. So that was your stand set up in the Student Center. What was your best seller?
Actually, it was a tie between the picture frames and the bell ringers.
Okay, good. Picture frames, your sales prices were about $5?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, well that's what I thought. Let's go to the last slide, I think, if we can, please, which is kind of gives us by the numbers a little bit. Price $1 to $5, your total sales. And what we've done when we look at these slides, the total sales is going to show total revenue that comes in along with any in-kind contributions, which many of the teams had. And then these guys show taking out their expenses, total expenses, $69. So their total net profit at the end of the project was $101. And there's a picture of the team. So well done.
Awesome. Good job.
Okay, so I think the next one we're going to look at is Guadalajara Numero 2. Did I do that all right, Romero Jr.? Okay. Burritos and aguas frescas. Okay. You sold in the Student Center, downtown, I believe, at Guadalajara Restaurant.
Yep.
And didn't you sell at Han Company at one of the plants one day?
That was our goal, but things didn't work out to where we weren't able to take anything down there. So.
Okay. How'd you come up with your project, your product, your business concept?
Actually, the business concept, Junior brought up to the group, and he's like, fresh waters, and we kind of were like, okay, explain. And he explained the process of the, fresh fruit and water and sugar, and they went and got the stuff we needed. Chassie and I made the posters and stuff to hang up, and we were actually really surprised how well we did the first time that we sold them.
First time out, where were you set up?
At Guadalajara.
At Guadalajara. Mm-hmm. And your relationship with Guadalajara is what?
Junior's family owns a restaurant.
Okay. Junior's mom is the owner of the restaurant. So that's a great opportunity for one company to use some resources, use their network, which at one point, I think when we first started talking about this, people were concerned, well, is that an unfair advantage? Yet, it's all fair in love and war and business, right? Mm-hmm. As long as it's legal and not breaking any laws or anything like that. So this is a great example of someone utilizing their resources, their network, and tapping into it. So that was a good idea. Where did you do your best sales? At the restaurant or at MCC?
Honestly, I think it was here, because when we were at the restaurant, we just did the freshwater drinks, and then when we set up here at the Student Center, we expanded and had burritos. and I think we had like 100 or 140 burritos, and we were sold out in under 2 hours. So,
well, I had my share. They were good. They were good. We have a couple more pictures, I think, so let's take a look at those. Okay, what's going on here? That'd be Junior and Colin bringing in the goods.
yeah.
I think Matt's hiding in the doorway back there, getting ready to go move his truck back. That's your stand set up, working with the customer. What was your pitch? How did you entice people to purchase your waters and burritos?
Generally, when people came and they're like just kind of looked at the drinks, they're like, "Okay, what is that?" And then once we explained it to them, you know, we're just like, it's, you know, fresh fruit, sugar and water, and that's it. And then, you know, some they'd want a sample taste. We'd give them a sample taste. They'd really like it, and then they'd want a whole glass. So
good. That's good marketing to offer some sampling. Okay. Let's take a look at, there we go, some more pictures. Oh yes, the picture on the left. Tell us about that one, because one of the rules in this rules of engagement was to utilize the seed, startup seed in some way.
yes, we were all over at my house working on trying to decide what we were going to do, and we were like, well, we have to utilize the box too. And my son, who would not leave Matt alone, Matt put him in the box. So
Okay.
that was kind of a fun thing.
Team building.
Yeah.
That's a good part of business. Okay. And the other two pictures?
That was, you know, selling the drinks at the restaurant. So
Okay. One more slide, I think. Maybe not. Last one is the numbers. Let's take a look at that. If I recall, talk to us about your pricing strategies and how that changed.
when we made a couple of the poster boards down at the restaurant, before we got down there, we're like, okay, with the drinks and whatnot, we're like, okay, usually, you know, for a pop, they're $1 something. Something that's a little more healthier, we raise the price. But then we're like, we might be better off just saying for donation and what the product is for, and going for the Lemon Entrepreneurship Scholarship Program.
Okay.
And with the second poster that was made, we just put by donation, and we seem to have more success when they see by donation than just a dollar amount.
Okay.
So.
Well, I remember also seeing Junior and Matt had, before I bought my burritos, the poster said $1.50, and then by the time I got there, they'd crossed it off and had changed it to $1. Mm-hmm. Why was that?
Honestly, I went to a meeting real quick, so when I came
so you
back,
didn't know about it.
well, we had talked about it before I went to my meeting, and then when I came back, I noticed it changed. I think that was more along the lines of just minimizing the fumbling of change, make
Yeah, I
it
think
simpler
that's
for
what
the
they told me.
customer
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Okay. Why? How is that a good move?
Because a lot of times people don't want to mess with change. If it's a flat price, then they're more able.
Okay,
They'll
sure.
stop.
Yeah, and you can do your pricing strategies in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's take a look at that last number slide again then. Total sales from what I was looking at, $224.57, and a $30 in-kind donation from Guadalajara Restaurant, cost of the burritos, and the what we're probably missing here would be any in-kind contributions of your team members if you had to buy some of the fruit. I'm guessing you had more than $5 worth of fruit in your drinks.
Yes.
So that would have been cash out of your own pocket that would also go into that in-kind donation. So your profit total really would go up. if you did not reimburse yourselves for it. Otherwise, we would have to look at the accounting differently. But from this point of view, we're looking at $254.57 as the total profit of one of these piles of cash is from you guys, the brown one, I believe. Mm-hmm. So, very well done. Thank you. Nice job. Okay, so I think we're going to now look at the Sub-Zero team, which was Jake, Putri, Tia, Kim, Lou, and George.
Why is she laughing?
I have to say here that our friend Putri is missing from this photo. Putri is a tiny woman from Indonesia, where it doesn't get sub-zero ever. So she worked hard at being out at this event, but had a hard time putting in quite amount the time that the others did. But Jake, give us a rundown on what you guys did and why you did it the way you did it.
We did window washing, and we originally wanted to pump gas as well. We couldn't get the okay for that, so we would stand out front of Hy-Vee Gas and wait for customers to pull up and get out of their cars and start pumping gas. And we would come up to them and give them our pitch for what we were doing. And then when they would accept, we would either wash their windows, and we also offered hot coffee or hot chocolate to everybody. And also a lot of the times if they would say no, we would still offer to wash their windows or give them hot chocolate. And a lot of the times that would change their mind, and they would still give us a donation after they'd already said no.
Okay. Did you price it as a price point or simply donation?
We did not put a price on it. We said simply by donation, and when a lot of people would ask us what's a good donation price, and we would say anything helps.
Okay. Okay, from that perspective, how does that then, based on the parameters of the business project, how did that fit into the rules, I guess, so to speak?
I think it worked out well. I believe the rule, I don't know exactly what the rules towards pricing was, but I wanted to go towards what I knew worked. And a lot of times with businesses in the past that we've done through the school, through LL65 and everything, that donations work better. If you put a flat price to something, a lot of times they're just going to pay that flat price. So,
okay. In terms of using the startup seed, the box and the $5 to create a business, to create a product or a service that you then sell, how do you use your startup seed?
We used the box as our collection area, which we cut a hole in top of it and put some magazines as a weight because we were outside and it was very windy a lot of the times. And then we duct taped the box shut, and we used our $5. We went to mailboxes and Parcel Depot and had name tags printed out that we put on our lanyards that we bought from the college with our own money. Some of us already had them, but they just said Muscatine Community College on it. That way we could all look as a group and people could tell that we were from the college.
Okay. Okay. I think we have some video to take a look at from these guys. So once that goes, let's just kind of talk about it. Describe how much time you were there, Jake, what the weather was like, you know, how this whole thing worked.
Various group members would be there for different amounts of times. Some had to work, others had a lot more time. I believe the most amount of time put in was by Tia and myself for 28 hours, but I believe as a group we had over 50 hours put into this project. It was very cold. We had to skip one day because of a snowstorm. The following 2 days after that was 0 degree and sub-0 degree temperatures, which we had to bundle up in layers upon layers of clothing and weather the cold. And sometimes even doing our pitch, our faces would become numb or covered in icicles. And it was a little hard to do that, but the customers were really kind and helped out with a lot of donations.
Talk about the coffee and the cocoa and the washing fluid, things like that. how did you build this into your business? How
We
did you
built this
utilize
into our business to help utilize, kind of take advantage of the cold weather by offering hot drinks. And on that note, I'd like to say thank you to Hy-Vee and Hy-Vee Gas, Casey O'Kelly, the store director, Delmer Coolers, who works in the meat department, and Kim Beckman from the kitchen. They gave us big 5-gallon jugs every single day with hot chocolate or coffee of our choice, along with cups with lids. Every single day they had it ready for us when we showed up, and helped us every day with what we needed, and that went into our in-kind donation, which we're also presenting them with a receipt for that for their taxes.
Okay, good. And here we see some people taking you up on your services. What was the, well, when we get to the numbers, we've actually got a total of how much Hy-Vee donated, which again is we put in toward the cash that was earned along with the in-kind contribution for your total profit. There we go, looking at the numbers there. Total sales, which included cash you brought in as well as some other checks, donations.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit, please.
Our regular donation was between $2 and $10 with different people that would come in, but we had Eastern Iowa Landscape give us a $50 check the first day, and a couple other customers give us $25 checks without us even really doing anything for them. It was just a kind donation.
That's great. Okay, so with the $154 in-kind donation from Hy-Vee for coffee, cocoa, washing fluid.
Yeah, also included paper towels and washing fluid.
Okay. The total amount comes to $736.66. So that's an incredible amount of money. So well done. Thanks very much. All right, we have one more team to look at. That would be the Hot Tamales. Michelle, Gracie, Gabby,
Kyle, Austin,
and Putra. And you will see they had a number of different products. The primary product sales came from your tamale sales, but tell us about some of the other stuff that you did the first couple days, Michelle.
The very first day that we did it was the Wednesday that the weather was absolutely terrible. So when I logged in to see what was going on out here, 14 teachers had canceled classes, and we were to sell in the student center that day. So I was like, oh, this is off to a bad start already.
And local schools were closed,
yes,
so most students with kids weren't around.
And the weather was a mess. So me and Gabby decided that we were going to come anyways, because I mean that was a lesson that was to be learned, that no matter what, we needed to be here. So I picked her up and we came out and we stood here for an hour and made $8.
What were you selling that day?
That day we had tacos, chili, the rice water that Gabby made, and cupcakes.
Okay. $8.
It was a really bad day. I mean, no one was on campus.
$8.
$8.
Okay.
So we were off to a terrible start.
Okay. Yet you had accomplished the seed money and already covered that.
Yes, because we had used the seed money to purchase like paper cups, paper plates, things like that, so that we could serve the food.
Okay.
So the second day when we met to get together to do, we decided that we were going to do the tamales already. I mean, we had decided that we were going to do several different things. So we did orders on Facebook.
Okay.
Some people weren't able, obviously, to purchase them because they were going to be out of town. So like Hanson Chiropractic gave us a $50 donation.
Great. Okay. Let's go ahead and roll the video while we're talking about this. We'll just kind of talk over it. So there's tamale production going on.
In a crazy way, we made a lot of tamales.
As I was there watching this, that tray that we can see right now, probably by the time they were done filling it up, was twice that many, and that was probably...
And there were several more trays, as you can kind of see in the background, yet to be filled.
Yeah, and that was... Yeah, they made a lot of tamales.
We made a lot of tamales.
How did that... what was your I guess your marketing strategy? What caused the success of having to make so many tamales? What was your pricing? What was your strategy?
We
to get
decided
people out?
that probably because it was an MCC Scholarship Foundation project, that we could have priced them pretty much at anything and made a decent profit. But we decided to stick with $1 a tamale and make it reasonable. Gracie put the mesa flour on the tamale, and I filled them, as you can see here. And we actually moved pretty quick. We made a lot of tamales in an hour and a half. And we did that on a couple of different nights.
Okay.
So we made a ton. To save money, we decided instead of doing drop-offs or delivery, we had everyone pick them up at a certain time. So we had a time frame of a half hour. It was supposed to be a lot longer, but as you know from being there, we were running a little behind schedule, and so we moved it back. But everyone was, showed up, and it went really well.
Okay, cool. We'll let this roll, I know, because at the end there are some, there's a happy customer eating the tamales. This is Gracie and Michelle in the middle of production, filling up that giant pot with tamales. How many total tamales did you make and sell, do you know?
455, I believe.
That's a lot of tamales, okay.
Yeah, I believe it's 455.
Okay. What else did you have for the other days you were selling on campus?
We came to campus on Friday, which was another bad day. There was a couple of cancellations, nothing major. The weather was absolutely horrid, though. It was really cold, like 32 below, I believe, that day.
Yeah, it was cold out.
And we made $6.
$6.
$6. But we were also in a different part of the college, so we were in the science wing.
You had some Indonesian cuisine, I believe.
Yes, Putra made some Indonesian potato, and Austin had brownies and.
Okay. Let's go ahead and cut to the last slide if we can, and we'll take a look at the money. Basically, each of your items that you were selling, you were selling for $1 was your price tag across the board, right? Your tamales, it's $1. 12 makes a dozen. That's $12. But you sold them as
numbers aren't correct.
My numbers aren't correct.
Oh,
you're right. They're way the total sales. Okay. Well, we were in a hurry. The profit number is
correct.
At the bottom. The total cash sales was $400 or $500, and in-kind donations was a couple $100, and the in-kind donations essentially
is what put us up.
Yeah, and that was essentially your team members' donations of hard goods.
Yeah,
product,
and we
right?
saved our receipts too. So because I knew that was something that you had said to us in class.
Right.
And then actually, I didn't even know that we were going to use those towards as a donation. I had talked to you yesterday and said, so we have these receipts, and now do I need to deduct them because I was filling out the paperwork.
Right.
And you were like, well, did you take the money back out? And I said, no, it's just money that we spent to buy the product and didn't take back out of the funds. And you said, well, that's a donation.
Yeah, kind of like the fruit from the Guadalajara Numero company. I spoke with Jamie, and he said, yeah, we had things in our refrigerator, in our cupboards that we used. So to make sure things were fair, or equitable from an accounting point of view.
Right.
That's how we put it together. So I think everybody's probably very anxious to see what the final is. At least I know the people in this room are.
Yes,
so
very much
if
so.
we could go to that last, one of the last slides, Chad, where it's got the total numbers. There we go. The final results. The BTW team generated $101. Guadalajara Numero $254.57. This is why I kept it so quiet, because two teams are within $1.30. Sub-Zero generated $733.66, and the hot tamales generated $737.96. So that's a pretty incredible thing. I want to say thank you and congratulations to everybody for that. Everybody gives a round of applause there. And the last thing we'll pop up here, if you will, please, is there's the winners, the hot tamales, and we have one more, actually an even bigger winner, and Bob has not been able to make it in yet, but an even bigger winner is the Muscatine Community College Foundation Entrepreneur Scholarship Fund, which this class, a year ago, we started this scholarship fund through the foundation, and the total donation to the MCC Scholarship Fund is $1,820. It's incredible. It just blows me away. I mean, there's money here, so it's an incredible project that you guys, the students, have done and pulled this together. This community, Muscatine, is incredibly charitable, incredibly supportive of the college, and in this case, it tells me that Muscatine is incredibly supportive of entrepreneurship in our community, and we're just going to take it and grow it and hopefully start more businesses and bring more economic development to the community, give more people an opportunity to come and do this fun stuff. So I believe that's it. I think we can wrap it up for this year, and it's been great fun. I want to say thanks and to you guys and everybody else in the class, and to the people who have donated, the companies that people have mentioned, and especially to Chad Bishop and the TV studio here. So that's it. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you.